Presented by Hammerhead and the Karoo 2, the only cycling computer with predictive path technology. Get yours at hammerhead.io.
Let's get into the Tour de France. You claimed that it was a better tour than 2021.
Yeah. This vintage was definitely better on the tongue, better in the mouth as you swirled it around the glass and knocked it down with, a plate of French steak, a French beef tartare, because it was one that you could just go on for a while and enjoy it day after day, because it wasn't just a domination by Tadej Pogačar. We saw Jonas Vingegaard win the Tour de France, the first Danish rider to win since Bjarne Riis in 1996. But it wasn't a cakewalk for Vingegaard. We're seeing some problems there for the team, and the team, of course, lost Primoz Roglic along the way. Tadej Pogačar was in the yellow jersey, but then lost the yellow jersey and just affected with COVID in the team. So a lot of different variables happening, making it a bit of an unknown as to what was going to happen, even when we got deep into the race in the Pyrenees, Michael.
Yeah, and these clips that we're seeing right now, this is just from stage 5, which was the Roubaix stage. After the first week, people were essentially calling the race for Tadej Pogačar. That's Primoz Roglic, co-captain with Jonas Vingegaard, crashing in the background on stage 5. This race was just chaos that day. That Jonas Vingegaard having 3 bike changes in 2 minutes, something like that. That's the most insane thing that I've ever seen in a bike race, I think. And, at that point, it seemed like it was all falling apart for Jumbo Visma. I mean, it was just madness. But they pulled it together. And, fast forward where we get into the mountains and we're still just looking at Jonas Vingegaard. Yeah. I could watch these moments just like time after time. It was incredible. Stephen Kruijswijk running across the road because Jonas Vingegaard took his bike and then just left it 3 seconds later. It was a disaster. Yeah, this is. Let's just watch this because you do not see things like this every day in professional cycling. That's Kruijswijk realizing that he's going to need to get his bike back. He darts in front of this peloton. I don't know if you've ever ridden in front of a peloton that's going 30 miles an hour, Gregor, but that was a risky move by Kruijswijk clomping along the road in his cycling shoes. But they pulled it together. That was a horrible day for Roglic, though. He is still nursing injuries from that crash in the hay bale. Roglic, he's a rider who struggles to stay on his bike in these really big races, but you have to feel for the guy on stage 5 of the Tour because that was not his fault. Nothing about this situation was his fault. That people were speculating that maybe a race motorcycle knocked that hay bale into the road, but that's just something that shouldn't happen in the Tour de France. But we see these things happen in cycling all too often. So that is, still causing issues for Primoz Roglic as we go into the Vuelta. Whether or not he's going to start that race, I don't know. We can go into that in a bit. But whatever the case, Jumbo-Visma recovered from, a week that was really looking like it was going to set up another Tadej Pogačar show for the 3 weeks of the Tour. And we get to Col de Grenan, big mountain stage, and Tadej Pogačar cracks. Suddenly, we realize that the yellow jersey, the ex-Slovenian, is human.
Yeah, and it made for a great day of racing because that was there going over the Galibier, where all that action took place on the Izoard and Galibier, and made for a perfect setting for Pogačar being challenged. And it seemed as though he was bonking a bit. Maybe he didn't take on enough gels, and maybe the tactics he didn't play him as well as he should have there. And Jumbo-Visma did play it well because Primoz was still in the mix at that point, and him and Jonas went, one after another, just throwing it down on Tadej Pogačar. And that time that Vingegaard gained there ended up being critical for him to win the Tour de France overall. And I think it really, we're looking at the future of Tadej Pogačar. It was better that he lost this edition after winning 2 editions, because I think that'll make him kind of appreciate what he's done in 2020 and 2021 and make for some different style of racing in 2023 when the race kicks off in the Basque Country.
Yeah, and I think that it makes all the fans appreciate him a bit more also, because it's always good when you see someone like Tadej Pogačar that he is actually human, because going into the tour, like the kid's just a heat-seeking missile. It seemed like he sets his eyes on the finish line and just brushes every challenge off on the way to Paris. That wasn't the case this year, so that's good for the sport. And you know, he still had a great ride, but it does add intrigue into just what's going to happen at next year's tour. And we're going to get into the transfer market, because this isn't really just a GC fitness test going up mountains style of Tour de France anymore. You have to be able to be on the offensive on these transition stages, you know, taking advantage of every opportunity on the road. And as UAE and Jumbo Visma are really in an arms race to, you know, further bolster their ranks and, you know, stay one step ahead of each other come July, they're making some interesting and big signings, not just for mountain domestiques, but these classic style stages, because they're just ever more important in winning the Tour de France.